If you're working in a country where they don't speak your home language, it will be difficult to live here because everybody here speaks Chinese. Oh, sorry, Watimbo Dong. Watimbo Dong means I can hear you, but I don't know what you are saying. You are speaking in tongues. So lot of difficulty when I came here. You cannot understand this environment if you do not speak the language. They'll say, "Niyao Shama, what do you want? Niyao Shama." With Sha'ais now. How do you guys feel when you live or work in an environment where they speak a different language, okay, than you speak, okay? Hey guys, how are you all doing? It's your favorite Mr. Sub. So just now I just finished my CT scan. I'm now in the dressing room trying to dress. Unfortunately, I could not go into the dressing room or into the CT scans with my phone, so I had to drop everything on me, everything that has metal, my belt, my everything, just drop them here in this dressing room. You can see. I just completed dressing up now after finishing my CT scan. So I'll be giving you more updates as regards this process. So guys, just like I said, I just finished doing the CT scan on my foot, and I'm asked to come back for the test results. I mean, that was the, what do you call this? The, you know, that's film. When I mean film, the FILM. The what's it called? This, the result anyway. That thing they give to you that look transparent, So I'm asked to come back for it, and after then the doctor will be able to examine my foot and know what is actually wrong to be able to give me the actual or proper treatment. All right, guys. So it's a favorite Mr. Sub here, and I hope you all are doing well. I'm just giving you an update of what happened or what have been happening so far as regard my foot, because last time I came here I told you about the foot that I'm asked to come for the CT scan, and here I am today for the CT scan. So it will be also nice I give you updates on the CT scan so you know what is happening so far. So I'll be coming back for that to get the report, and after then the doctor is going to examine my foot and know what the issue is, and also know how to prescribe the right medication for me. Alright guys, so it's your favorite Mr. Sub, and I hope you all are doing well. Today is the temperature here around now is around 22 degrees. Today is not that cold, not that hot, so just around room temperature. That I mean the outside temperature is around 22 degrees, yeah. Not cold, not hot, just okay. Alright guys, so very soon I'll be going home, or just walk around before I go home. But I think I should show you my foot so you can see what I'm saying. Let me show you my foot so you can see. So actually the foot is not visible. There's no visible swelling on the foot. You may not really discover any visible, but a little bit swollen on this side, a little bit, okay? A little bit swollen. So you may not really see any difference. This is the other foot, a little bit swollen, a little bit. But I believe I'll be given the right medication as regards my foot, and I'm sure I'll be fine very soon. And one thing I like about this hospital here is that they are all well equipped. I mean, really well equipped. Okay, so when it comes to equipment, they are top notch. When it comes to medication, believe me, they are top notch. All right, top notch. Fully equipped. Fully equipped. They are really fully equipped. So I hope I'll get the right what's it called, medication, and everything is gonna go well. All right guys, so it's your favorite Mr. Sub, and guys, if you are new on this channel, please try and subscribe, share the videos, share my videos, also leave your comments, and also turn on your notification button so you get notified each time I make any post. So you can see I'm exiting the hospital now, and we'll be going home pretty soon. Everywhere here looks cool, cool and clean. You can see everywhere looks cool and also clean. I feel like going to that park and spending like 1 minute. There's a park here, a park attached to this hospital. I was there the last time I came, so I'm thinking of going to the park. Maybe just spending like 1 or 2 minutes, or at most 10 minutes before going back. Maybe. Well, if not the case, I'll be going home. But let me just take a walk here. For me, I like having a connection with nature. Like when I see any area where there are, greeneries, nature, those stuff, I like getting close to them. Yeah, I like spending time around nature. This tree or this flower looks like. Let me show you this flower. It looks like something, but I know it's not that anyway. But it looks like a particular what's it called, vegetable. A little bit like what they call we call it water leaf. In Nigeria, we call it water leaf. So it looks like water leaf. A little bit anyway. It looks a little bit like water leaf, but it's a flower. That's funny. For those of you from Nigeria, I think even Africans should be calling the same name. I don't know, but I know those of you from Nigeria, you should know what I mean by saying water leaf. It's a vegetable that when you use it to cook, it has a lot of it has a lot of what's it called water in it. It can produce a lot of water while cooking, so it's called water leaf, from that name, water leaf. Yes. All right, guys, so let me just sit down here instead of going to the park again. I think I can just have a sit here for 1 or 2 minutes before going back, so you can see where I am today. The temperature today, or the weather today, looks cool. The weather is not hot at all, unlike yesterday. Today looks cool. All right, guys. So I don't know why I'm always this kind of guy that likes to put on cap. I don't know. I'm just used to it. I don't know. I don't know why I like to put on caps. I'm used to that style. Always always enjoy putting on face cap. I don't know. Do you also have that kind of what's it called? Do you find yourself in that kind of situation, maybe as a guy, that like for me now, I have things that I cannot go out with or without, okay, that I feel uncompleted, those things, they complement me. For instance, if I'm going out, I had to go on with my wristwatch. I can't go out without my wristwatch. For me, my wristwatch complements my dressing for me. But I've seen a lot of guys that when they go out without a wristwatch. They don't care about putting on wristwatch. For them, maybe some only care about putting on maybe a wristband or whatever, and they are complete. For them, they can go out, go out. But for me, I don't feel complete each time I'm going out and I have no wristwatch on me. It's one of the things that I'm always careful about. That I must have my wristwatch, on my wrist when I'm going out. And something again that I also feel compliments me oftentimes, to may not be all the time, but most times when I'm going out, I love putting on my cap, okay? I have my face cap. I have different caps. I have like almost 4 or 5 of them at home. Even some, maybe more than that anyway. I know some are already bad, which are no more in use, but I have a lot of caps, at home that I put on. I just feel it complements my dressing. Though it doesn't mean often time I use them anyway. And sometimes even when I make videos, I may have them, but I may decide to remove them while I make videos sometimes. But it doesn't mean they are not on me, they are with me. I'm having them somewhere, maybe, in my bag or whatever. So that's that. So I don't know. Why, also for me, something again that compliments me, again, that I feel that compliments me, or that I feel that I pay more attention to when I dress, is my shoes. Okay. For me, I pay a lot of attention to shoes. Okay, we have different kind of ideas when it comes to dressing. Some people pay attention so much to maybe just the shoes, maybe just the belt, maybe just the trouser, or the, I don't know, the shirt. I know all those ones are also important, but for me, I pay, attention to everything, but I make sure my shoes are, always in place. Okay, but above all, one thing, like I said, I must go out with at any point in time is my wristwatch. My wristwatch. From childhood, or from since when I started using watches or using wristwatch, I've made sure that each time I'm going out, I must have my wristwatch with me. I cannot really explain why. I can't explain why I have that kind of what's it called, behavior. And sometimes we do some things we cannot explain why we do them, but it's just like we are a little bit, how to say, we are used to them, or like somebody becomes addicted to something. Addiction. Addiction does not mean negative stuff. Anyway, don't be wrong. You can be having addiction of something. It might not be really negative something. Maybe something positive as well. Maybe I have an addiction that every morning I have to do this, do that, before I go out. For me, it's an addiction. Or for you, maybe it's also, maybe you have to do this and that, A and B. That if you don't do them, you don't feel okay. You must do them. So it might be something that you're used to. That at all time you must do them. For me as well, it's say for me, if I'm going out and I don't have my wristwatch, I feel something is not complete in me. This wristwatch, I feel something is not, I feel I'm not complete. I'm not okay. Something is missing in me. Or maybe I'm half naked. I don't know why. So maybe you can tell me why. Sometimes we don't know everything. There may be things that may be happening around you that you may not have you don't know how to define it, but someone somewhere knows how to define it, or maybe knows what is actually going on with you. So if you have an idea of what it's called, or what it is called, please let me know. I want to learn. I know I just know that I have this kind of behavior with me. Even in my house, I have a lot of a wristwatch. Though I'm only used to wearing this one because this one is more of a smartwatch. It's a smartwatch. It's a smartwatch. Okay, let me see. It's a smartwatch. You can see if I shake now. So this is more of a smartwatch. So I'm used to wearing this often times because it's linked to my phone. I can get here what's it called, messages, and so I can also make call here. So it's more for me, it's more convenient. But I have other watches at home that I don't even use now. That I hardly use since I have this smartwatch. So maybe you could let me know, what do you think should be the reason why someone would always feel complimented when he or she has something on him, or have something, maybe wear or put on something on him, then he or she feels complimented, but else he or she feels was not complimented. Just let me know, please, guys, and that would be nice. All right, guys. So once again, it's a favorite Mr. Sup here. Please, if you're new on this channel, please try and subscribe, and let's move this channel forward. All right, guys. So currently I'm in China. For some of you that do not know, if you're coming to my channel for the first time, my name is Mr. Sup. You can call me Sup. Anyone is okay. So I'm currently in China here. I'm based here with my family, and I'm also working here. I don't know how you guys feel working outside your country. Like for me, a Nigerian working in China, there are always challenges, working outside your country. And one of those could be, if you're working in a country where they don't speak your home language, the language you are brought up with. One big issue you may have is language barrier. Not only if you're working, if you're in a country where they don't speak the language, your original mother language. For we Nigerians, we can consider, although we have our mother's tongue anyway, but because our official language is English, so we can say our mother tongue is English. But though we have our mother tongue, like for me, I'm an Igbo, from the Igbo tribe in Nigeria, so I speak the Igbo language. But it's maybe, would I say unfortunate that I speak English more than my native language. Yes, because the language my parents speaks speak, from the time that I was born, is English. So all they spoke to me was English, because I'm not with them anymore, and I'm using the word was English. And I went to school all my education were in English. So I could say English is my first language, you know. Yeah, first language. So coming to China, where they speak a language different from my first language, that I can say is English, because all I spoke through from childhood to adult stage was English. You know, I even barely speak my local language. This is Igbo. Though my mom's once in a while do speak to us Igbo language, okay, once in a while, or let me say my mom spoke Igbo to us more often than my dad. My dad is this scholar type. You know what I mean by scholar type? Is this English kind of person, you know, like all his time, all he spoke with us was English. Yeah, but my mom was speaking Igbo. Yeah, she speaks Igbo. Maybe once in a while she speaks English. So I grew up in an environment whereby, well, father was speaking more of the English part, and mother was speaking Igbo. Yeah, I mean my language Igbo. Yeah, and sometimes she would speak English, but all my education was in English. So I could say you know, first language can be said to be English. Okay, and I speak English more than my native language, which is Igbo. But I speak Igbo as well. Okay, I speak Igbo also. So now coming to China, where they are speaking a language different from your or my original language, you know, there are also some challenges, to be frank with you. Okay, so I don't know, you also may have your own challenges working in a different country where they speak different languages. Okay, but to succumb these challenges, we also need to prepare ahead. When I came to China, I knew or let me say I had the intention to work in China. Okay, I came here to study anyway, and I made sure I finished studying. But I had it in my mind that I would like to, stay in this economy, in this society, after studying. So I had that in mind when I came to China. When I saw the environment and I saw the people, yeah, I felt that, wow, it's good. I can stay here. I can be able to reside here after studying. So I was also working towards that. When I mean working towards that was, I knew one of the issues I could have if I want to live in China was language barrier. So immediately I came to China, I started learning the language, and I made sure I could speak the language. Okay, so I could communicate in Chinese. You know, I could do stuff in Chinese. So that has really been for me a good, or what's it called, an edge. Okay, an edge. So without that, it will be difficult to live here, because everybody here speaks Chinese. Everybody here speaks Chinese. If you tell them, hello, how are you? Maybe one or two, maybe say the younger guys, younger generation could understand hello, how are you? And even some older ones anyway. But if you go beyond that, please, I'm going to this aid that, oh, sorry, Watimbodong. Watimbodong means Watimbodong means I can hear you, but I don't know what you are saying. Watimbodong. I can hear you, but I don't know what you're saying. I can't, comprehend what you are saying. You hear that instantly. Why some will just ignore you because, like, you are speaking in tongues. Okay, so how do you guys feel when you live or work in an environment where they speak a different language, okay, than you speak? Okay, it's very, very important. Even though I speak Chinese, but I know I faced a lot of difficulty when I came here. It was never easy. So if you know you want to go to a country where you are not ready to learn their language, please do not go. I know some of my friends that after, upon finishing our studies here, they left back to Nigeria, not because they don't love China, or they don't want to stay in China, or they don't feel this environment is nice, but because they feel or they have a lot of barrier in communication. So they know it's going to be for them very, difficult. So the best bet for them to go back home and continue in an environment where they understand very well. Because you cannot understand this environment if you do not speak the language. It's going to be for you very difficult. And you can imagine how many of us can afford to employ a translator. I do have some Koreans, what's it called, boss, co-workers, but they are my boss, senior boss, senior colleagues. They used to have, what was it called? They used to have an interpreter, someone that interpret for them, someone that interpret for them. So those guys, sometimes they do not really pay so much attention to learn Chinese like we Africans do, or maybe let me say Africans anyway, that I know. They don't really pay so much attention to learn Chinese because they have, or they can afford, or let me say most companies that employ them, they employ them as experts. So they do afford to get them an interpreter so they can have a smooth work within the company, because sometimes these things have to be technical stuff. So you need someone that's going to break it down, someone that understands Korea and also understand Chinese, that will interpret and, have the workflow, from the head to other, other staffs, Yeah. So, but for we, like imagine me, I came here studying. I'm a student. How will I have an interpreter? It's really funny. So I have to learn Chinese by my own self. Okay. So if you have no idea, or if you have no idea what it is, I'm just giving you an instance or an example that it is really difficult. When I came here, for me, it was really hell. Then I remember if I go to buy stuff, maybe I go to buy like bread or whatever, and sometimes they will ask me like, "Ni yao shama? Ni yao shama? What do you want?" Because when I get there, I become dumbfounded. I don't know what to say. I don't even know how to ask how much, because if I ask how much, they don't hear what I'm saying. What I'm saying. Why sometimes I will even ask how much. They'll say, "Ni yao shama? What do you want? Ni yao shama? What do you want?" Do they speak in Chinese? Ni yao shama? And I will like, "I need this bread. How much do you say this bread?" They say, "Sha izna, sha izna, sha izna." I'm speaking for you the northeastern language. Shaizi, Shamaizi. But they use the word Shaizi, local language. Shaizna, Shaizna. So I'm saying Shamaizi. So Shamaizi, what do you mean? So then I'm like, I don't know what these people are saying. I would not ask them, "Don't you speak English? Don't you speak English? It was really for me hell. Then I had to use my hand to gesticulate, to explain to them what I want. Maybe I want this. And they will tell me, maybe they will use their hand to explain to me how much, and I will just sometimes have to give them money, because in English, if I say 7 means if I add these 5 fingers, and 2 means 7 in English, but in Chinese it's not so. It's not so. Okay, so like 10 means if I bring my 10 fingers together, this and this, they'll bring it together, means 10. But in Chinese, it's not so. 10 in Chinese means like, let me show you what it means in 10. Let me keep my camera somewhere and show you what it means. 10. If you can see my hand, this is 10 in Chinese. This is 10. Okay, this is shi. Shi means 10. Okay. So if you want to say 10 in Chinese, you must use those 2 fingers. Okay, these 2 fingers, and hit them against the other means 10. You cross them against each other, it means 10 in Chinese. So you are going to have a lot of difficulty to also gesticulate to them. So sometimes I have to give them money, and just, okay, take, and they will give me back my change. So that was how I had to skate through an initial stage. But I discovered I had to learn the language, and I made sure I learned the language as time goes on, and that was for me an edge. I have friends that I told you that they tried to learn, they didn't. Why some didn't even try to learn the language? They ignored it. And one thing about life is that there is an adage that says that you can easily bend a fresh fish, but when the fish is dried, you cannot bend the fish. You can only break it, becomes broken. So those guys that came here initially, so my friends, at the initial stage, they felt that it wasn't important for them to learn the language. It wasn't important. But as time has gone on, after 2-3 years, or 2 years or so, or more than that, they discovered that, oh, this language is important. But at that time, they have gained immunity, or developed immunity against the language. Their body is now immune against the language. So for them at that point to learn the language was difficult than initially when they came. So they had no option than to just go home, Sorry, it's feeling a little bit cold here and windy, so I have to button up. So they have no other means or other option than to go home, because for them it was not what they could be able to endure. I remember also when I was doing my NYSC, which I did in Kaduna in Nigeria. Then I stayed in the Hausa, Hausa community. But when I came to the school for my NYSC, National Youth Service Corps, my employer asked me if I want to stay within the school environment or to live within the locals. Then I said I want to live within the school, because then I can't speak Hausa language, and you guys know. Then we also have this issue of a lot of issue of sudden attacks of non-Hausas living in those areas, in the northern area. So I was also scared of my own life. I was concerned of my own safety. So I decided to stay within the school. But that was for me a big mistake anyway, because I would have also stayed among the locals, look for a safer area to stay. So I stayed there for 1 good year, and I lived within the school complex. And other colleagues also live within the school complex. Other colleagues, other National Youth Corps member, NYSC member, they live within the school complex. And we all left the school, or left Kaduna, without learning Hausa language. So when I was about leaving, or when I was maybe like after some months, it was 1 year program, I felt really bad. I would have lived within the community or within the people, so I could learn the language. Because for me, I found out that I easily grab language easily. That language I grab them very easily for me. So even when I was staying outside or within the community, when I was even staying within the school complex, and I do go out once in a while to buy some stuff and relate with the local people, I could also pick some little Hausa language that I still have them till now. Are you getting it? Like, for instance, ma jata means medicine. Lemu means orange. I know nyarinya means, I think, wife or girlfriend, nyarinya. And what's it called again? Kabaribi, what's it called? Kabarichi abinchi. Is it kabaribi abinchi? I've forgotten, but abinchi means food anyway. Abinchi means food. I could just speak some, but I've forgotten them because I've not been speaking them. But I could learn some languages, or some Hausa words. But if I have been with them, I promise, or I know that within 1 year I would have been able to speak at least some good level Hausa language. All right, good. So I just gave you that anyway by the side. But what I'm saying in the last scale is that if you want to travel to any country, please prepare your mind. If they are speaking a language different from yours, prepare your mind to learn that language. It is very, very important. If you want to stay there, if else, you're going to find it very difficult to live. You're going to find it very difficult to stay. And before you know it, you can't cope. That's the truth. It becomes, and you start hating on them. You start hating on them like, these people. It now becomes that they are the one that that has the fault, not you. It becomes a kind of twist. You will now try to make them to learn English instead of you learning their own language. Don't forget, you are in their own territory. You should learn the language. But now you're trying to force them to learn your own language. It is not, it is not right. I also fall in that same shoe. At that beginning, I was like, why can't you guys speak English? But no, I should learn the language because they speak Chinese. That's the twist. Okay. All right, guys. So I'll be leaving very soon. Yes, I'll be leaving very soon, guys. Okay, guys, please stay well. And I hope you all are doing well. I wish you guys all the best. Please, if you are new on this channel, please try and subscribe to this channel. Subscribe, share these videos, to your friend. Also, leave a comment, guys. See you in my next video. Goodbye and bye.